Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica. I am a Polish designer and artist working here in New York City. And today I want to show you and focus on how I trim my watercolor paper. Today I'll be trimming down a watercolor paper that's heavier, the 300, and I'm trimming it down to 22 by 28 inches. Originally, when I bought this paper, it did come a little bit wider than I wanted it to be. So I'm trimming down the 2 inches from the bottom to make it 28 and about a quarter of an inch on the side because it did come a little bit wider than normal. Now, of course, you want to measure out where you want to cut the paper, where you want to trim it. So right here, I'm just marking down the quarter of an inch, and I'm using the X-Acto knife and very gently just sliding down the ruler where I need to cut. Very gently. I want to make sure that I am not cutting through the paper. Usually I just go with the X-Acto knife once, maybe twice, and that's it. And then I start bending the paper back and forth, and I do it very slowly. I also want it to be, I want it to be a deckled edge, so I want this to be very irregular. And I do this for a while, for a couple of minutes. Now it is a little bit harder to do on the thicker paper. As you could see, I'm fighting with it a little bit, and again, it's just that little sliver of paper that I need to trim. So it's a little bit harder that it's a small edge that I need to trim, but it's also easier because when you're trimming down a thicker paper, once you do, once you bend it back and forth, it actually comes apart on its own, and you don't have to do much. As you can see here, it's already coming apart. And then I just tear off the end, tear off the part that I don't need, and you could see it has that irregular deckled edge that I'm looking for, and it kind of matches the rest of the paper. This is so satisfying to do, by the way, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Now I'm going to be trimming down the 2 inches from the bottom. Now this is a little bit easier because I have more paper, more surface to work with. Even the bending is much easier. And I'm going to use the back of the X-Acto knife to even make it easier for myself, or sometimes I use my ruler, or you can use whatever you have on hand to press it down. Again, you can see up close what I'm doing, and the paper is already completely coming off on its own. I don't really have to do much to tear it off. I really like that look and that aesthetic. And again, this is the way the paper comes when you buy it. And when you buy a sheet of paper, a watercolor paper, they come in usually 22 inches by 30 inches. That's why I wanted to trim it down to a more of a standard size so my customers can easily frame the artwork instead of, having go to a frame shop and do a custom framing. The next thing that I'm doing is just taping down the watercolor paper to a board. It could be a wooden board. I'm using a foam presentation board, and I'm using masking tape not to damage the paper when I'm tearing it off once I'm done. I usually tape down maybe quarter of an inch on the edges of the paper. Um, and also depends like how wide is your masking tape. But my reasoning also is that I like to use every square inch of the paper. My motifs usually touch the edge of the paper, the edges of the paper, or they sometimes spill out. So I want to use in my painting as much of the surface that I can, if that makes sense. Then I'll tape the sides, and if I'm working with a thicker paper, I will go around twice again with taping it down just to make it more secure. And that's pretty much it. I don't really wet my paper before I use it. I've tried that before and it just didn't work for me. Maybe again because I was working on a thicker paper. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how I prep before I start painting. Um, Thank you for watching this video. And if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel and comment on this video or hit the like button. Please subscribe to my newsletter. It's on my website, monmondesigns.com. I usually update my collectors, of course, on new artworks, new video uploads, any markets or gallery events. So if you want to do that, just go to my website and you will see a pop-up there. I'm selling original artwork and art prints on my website as well, so please check it out, and I'll see you next week.